everyone, welcome. Tonight is something a little different from normal. So we're doing a spotlight, and we haven't done one of these in a while. This is where we bring on somebody who has something to do with the development of a game and have them run a nice game for us so we get to see what it is. And tonight we are with the director of Scarred Lands. That is Travis Legge. Thank you so very much. He's going to be bringing us into this. We're going to be looking at Scarred Lands, Frostlands of Fenrilik. And it's a pretty cool thing so far. We made some characters that are going to be utilizing some of the new features that are in there. And maybe for some of the audience members, this may be the first time kind of coming in contact with Scarred Lands and obviously this particular source material here. So, Travis, do you want to give us like a little quick rundown of what they could expect while I look at these 63% of my skipped frames?
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to do so. So, the overall setting of Scarred Lands is a 5th edition fantasy setting. It is post-apocalyptic fantasy in the sense that there was a war between the Titans and the gods about 150 years ago. And that war largely took place on the surface of the world. Mostly on the continent of Gelspad. So if you were from Gelspad, there's a good chance that your ancestors may have stood shoulder to shoulder with gods during this divine war and fought against the Titans. If you're a member of a long-lived race, you may have stood shoulder to shoulder with gods and fought during this war. And the war was, as one might imagine, utterly catastrophic. It drastically altered the landscape in Gelspad. There's, for example, one of the geographical features there is the Blood Sea on the eastern seaboard, so named because the Titan Kadum was chained, had his heart ripped out, and was tossed to the bottom of the sea, where he still lies bleeding. It's literally turned the entire ocean into blood.
So badass.
Yeah, it is a heavy metal and foul setting. Yeah.
Since you told me that, that's how I explain it to other people. I talk about that. That's because that's so fucked up. That's great.
Exactly. There's the Titan or the Fangsfall mountain range. The Titan Gorak, who was the Titan of Gluttony. When the gods defeated him, they ripped his teeth out and tossed them basically like over their shoulder while they're dismembering this dude. And when the teeth landed, they formed a mountain range where they dropped. So that's the geography of Gelspad. It's literally scarred by this war. The Frostlands of Fenrilik is a new expansion that we've added, which details the far northern Arctic continent of Fenrilik, which was largely isolated from the Titans' War, partially due to the fact that it is so remote and so difficult to get to. It's surrounded by an ocean called the Stiffened Sea because it freezes to the point of impassability for about 11 months out of the year. It's intensely cold, the kind of cold that you just don't survive without either magic or massive preparation going out into. And the people of Fenrilik, because they have such a limited exposure to the rest of the world, have a different perspective on this whole gods and Titans business. Mainly, they don't necessarily believe that the Titans War happened. And if it did happen, I'm sure the Titans didn't really get beaten. I went out and hunted this morning, so the Titan Hreinrook, who is in charge of hunting, must be fine. Is kind of their perspective on it.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Nice.
So they're very isolated. When they do reach out to members of societies from other parts of the world, it's usually the Albadians who are from the northernmost part of Gelspad, and they really only make it up there about once or twice a year to trade. And so they kind of have this mindset that these Southerners with their god worship, they're very quaint. Most of the spirituality on Fenrilik is actually a practice called Ushada, which is the reverence of the spirits, be they the spirits of the land, the spirits of one's ancestors, the spirits tied to a particular location.
Nice.
And then after that is Titan worship. Druidic magic is in Scarred Lands. There's a very hard line. If you are a druid, you draw your power from the Titans. If you are a cleric, you draw your power from the gods.
Okay.
I like that a lot. That makes more sense.
Yeah, it's very like demarcated of how that works. And so there are very few clerics on Fenrilik. Most of them worship a goddess who's basically considered to be a minor demi-goddess of winter everywhere else on the planet, but here she's like the goddess that people worship.
Gotcha.
So yeah, and it's and the idea is that most of the settlements on Fenrilik are extremely isolated and rarely even speak to one another, let alone to anyone from anywhere else. There are vast distances between villages. Usually there are some nomadic tribes that move around from place to place, which is how most news gets around. And those are often comprised of either mainly of species that have adapted to the cold, or people who are traveling with like a druid who specializes in keeping people alive on the tundra. Those are really the only ways that most nomads get around. The largest settlement on the surface of Fenrilik is the city of Kovo Kimru. It boasts a population of around 8,000 people. It is the center of most trade that happens. They have multiple sort of advantages in their location, in that they are next to the only reliable bridge to cross the Tobor Gorge, which is this massive canyon that bisects the continent. The only bridge that isn't a death trap is right next to Kovo Kimru, and they control it. They're surrounded by forest on the north and the south, evergreen forest, so they have access to lumber. And it's planted on top of one of the largest hot springs on the continent, so they have fancy things like drinkable water.
I think they're fancy around here.
Them
upscale.
Those highfalutin types with their drinkable water.
Exactly. The laws in Kovo.
The best part is all of us are from a small town downstate, so we can relate, man.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. I'm sure the winters are somewhat similar. And so there is like a tribal council that runs Kovo Kimru, but really the only laws to speak of are that anyone who comes to Kovo Kimru seeking shelter is permitted in, and anyone who endangers the safety of Kovo Kimru is exiled to the wastes. Everything other than that is pretty well fair game. People tend to get along mostly, if nothing else, out of necessity, because it's one wrong move on a bad winter day and the whole village might die. The environment is definitely out to kill you. And so, having said that, though, because Kovo Kimru is sort of the center of civilization, it's also the hot spot for adventurers to go, either to deliver goods that are being traded, to seek out work, to engage with some of the nomadic tribes that pass through. There's even a little bit of intrigue, as the nearest thing that Kovo Kimru has to a rival is across the gorge. There's the city of Juraj, which is about an eighth the size of Kovo Kimru, but does have a much larger forest around it, so they're able to have a lumber-based kind of economy. And they have kind of something of a ongoing disagreement about the use of the bridge, because Juraj is on the smaller half of the continent. They need that bridge to get their goods to the rest of the people to actually start, turning this into a profitable venture for them. And the people of Kovo Kimru don't want to give them access to that bridge without severely taxing it. So there's a bit of a conflict there. But we're going to set our tail tonight in the city of Kogokimmer.
Right.
I guess the biggest thing I wanted to establish with you all is how you might know one another, what choices you've made for your characters in terms of races and classes, as there are some that are unique to Fenrilik that I'd love to talk about a little bit before we dive in too far, and what your business might be, like what might have drawn you to this city.
Right on. Let's start with Clint over there.
Sure. So I was looking through the book, and I chose the Krampek. So
Excellent.
I'm going to be playing that race that you have in this one. So description is they're a smaller race. They are typically a slave of another race that work in the Underdark, in the mines. Thing I liked about them is they've got. Let me pull it up here. Resistance to poison, because they're used to working in the mines where all of the noxious fumes and spores and everything else is in there. And they have the bioluminescence, so they can actually see in pure darkness. They can light up their body, their hands, and their torso with bioluminescence, which is just a very cool treat. So yeah, I'm playing the Krampek. And then to tie along with that, I decided to also choose the Ice Walker archetype for the Ranger.
I love it. Excellent.
So just trying to look through the book here and just specifically trying out the things that we have here. So he's going to. I'm going to be playing him as sort of kind of an archaeologist.
Okay.
He escaped slavery in the mines with his family, was able to get out, and has been on his own. But since it's specifically talked in there that the Krampek don't have a written language.
Right,
so
that's correct.
one of my character goals would be trying to find our history that isn't in language, because we don't have books. So I would have to be trying to find things that are physical.
Like tradition? Awesome.
Yeah, like you'd have to find pottery and art and tools that would tell the story of his race more so than books. So that's what I'm playing.
I love it. And just to expand just a little bit on the Krampek, they're a new addition in this book. They, in terms of like the canonical timeline, were just recently discovered by the surface. Up until there's an adventure in the back of the Frostlands of Fenrilik expansion book that basically details the first interaction between the Krampek and the surface on any scale. So they're very new. Everything is very wild and wow to them. Most of them believed that the world kind of ended at the caves that went up top, and everything was just sort of this bright void above them. So you definitely would be like a kind of a pioneer among your people, which is
that's awesome.
Super cool. And the Ice Walker Ranger is very cool. They're adapted to obviously surviving the Arctic, but also as they level, they start to get abilities to like create tools out of the ice and eventually create like structures and settlements out of the ice. You level up far enough, you turn into Elsa, basically.
Yeah, very cool.
Life goals right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rock solid. All right, since I am
Literally.
next in the overlay there, I guess I'll go next. So I am playing Mick. Mick is I have no idea how to pronounce this correctly, a Taslan.
That is absolutely correct.
Yes, nailed it. All right, so Taslan was kind of a unique one that I saw in the book. As far as I can understand with them, they are a type of ooze that imprints on another being and makes a duplicate of them. And then that duplicate basically gets all the memories and all that kind of stuff of the host, and then goes off and does whatever it's going to do. So kind of like a doppelganger, it sounds like to me. So in this case, I am imprinted on a Slytherin, which is another unique race to Scarred Lands. So they are the Ratmen. So I'm going to be playing an ice version of a Ratman.
Scarred.
And
He's scarred not once but twice.
2
I
times.
saw somebody mention in the chat that Jeff is playing the Thing. They're very much like the Thing, yeah. And the interesting thing about their introduction in Frostlands of Fenrilik is that they are also very new, and none of them know what created. These have been a creature in previous editions of Skylands, and the shift to sort of a more I guess, complete consciousness on their part is rare and new. So there are still ice wardens, which is the creature they're spawned from. They're more animalistic and ooze-like, running around on Fenrilik. Just some of them sort of woke up and went, wait a minute, I can go have a life. I'm going to go do that.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique situation that they have. So we will see how this guy kind of plays out. So in addition to his race, he is a scout rogue. So the scout subclass is also a unique one from Scarred Lands. And it's basically going to allow me to be kind of like a guide and a nature-y kind of person. So I can get out there and I can lead people through, which is exactly what Mick is all about. So he's a drifter as a background. He goes from town to town, kind of brings the news from one place to the other, and escorts people through the wilderness and the hellish landscape that is outside of the cities for his living. Let's see what other things do I need to kind of talk about.
Yes, Alex, it is based in 5e.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically what I got there for you guys. So let's move on to Dustin.
All right. I'm going to be playing Bracha the Linebreaker, a full orc, which is a rare opportunity you get to play a full orc, but Scarred Lands let you do it. So when I saw that, I was like, I'm playing a full orc, not a half orc, a full orc. So I was like,
Scarred Lands doesn't go half-ass; it goes full ass.
Yeah, that's right. Get the full ass orc this time. So I decided to go ahead and play something I've wanted to play since we started 5e, but haven't had much of an opportunity, and that was a fighter. And so I'm going to be playing a Battle Master.
Battle
took
Masters are cool.
I took
Rock
the background of soldier and rolled it up, and it said I was a standard bearer. So I decided that my guy was a frontline soldier who carried the banner up to the front lines at some point in some battle or in some war for his people. And then that battle all ended, and he hasn't quite moved on. So he's been picked up by some traveling mercenary groups and now wanders with them to apparently far north, where he now gets to be frontline, carrying large flag for whatever adventuring company he's with, and probably a visible marker by which others can find to get back to the group should they get separated. But he charges in head first and does what fighters do best and gets real mean and ugly real quick. So
He's what we call a sniper check.
Yes, probably true.
Perfect. And
Go
good.
on, Bracha.
did you have, did you have in mind for your backstory that maybe you were from Gelspat originally and have traveled all the way to?
Well, it seemed like that's where the orcs were from. I didn't see much about orcs that lived up in that new continent area as much. It seemed like they were from down in Galsbad, so I assumed, yes, that he had come up there at some point.
That's awesome.
Like I said, hired on. So.
And just a quick note about the orcs, because you mentioned them not being particularly common in other settings, and Scarred Lands definitely has a different approach to orcs. The orcs, in general, fought on the side of the Titans during the Titans War. Not particularly because of a passionate belief in the Titans, just because it was convenient, pretty much. So when the Titans War ended, now during the Titans War, they got this horrible reputation through all of the other species of just being these brutal murder machines because they are very effective combatants. But when the Titans War ended, the orc tribes pretty much entirely went to the humans and went, sorry about that, we were on the wrong side, we surrender. And immediately began sharing their culture with the humans, which has been mind-blowing to the humans and the elves and the dwarves, the various divine races. Because the orcs have this very rich culture that is based in the tribal identity, but also relation to astrology and the stars. So many orcs will, like if they have a defining moment in their life, whether it's a good or bad one, they'll look to the sky when that happens, and then they'll go get a tattoo that marks where a certain constellation was in the sky at that time, so that they can then refer back to that in their own personal tale. Many of them practice like shamanistic magic. They're a very spiritual people, and most of them are pretty peace-loving outside of when the need to fight arises, whether that be as a soldier, whether that be as, their people are endangered, whatever the cause is. They're capable of a great deal of violence, but generally that's not their first response to things, which has proven to be very challenging for other divine races to accept, because they're used to tales of a single orc felling an entire company of dwarven warriors and whatnot.
Gotcha. And I think that probably will segue pretty nicely into Levi describing his character, since he's got a dwarf beard on.
I'm a dwarven monk of the Way of the Winter Soul.
Excellent.
My name will be revealed.
Oh.
My background doesn't matter because I don't remember it. And I am a forsaken dwarf that crawled his way out of the Underdark. And that's it. Let's go. I'm ready.
Dark secrets.
This is classic Levi right here.
Yep.
I love it. So we're going to begin our tale with the assumption that you have just arrived in the city of Kovo Kimru. Whatever business had initially, what business would you say may have drawn you to this great metropolis of 8,000 people on the edge of the Tobor Gorge?
As a group?
Yeah, as a group. Like, what might you be there for? Are you there looking for work? Are you there specifically to complete or to start a quest? Are you there just to see what it has to offer? Are you there because you got separated from a larger group and it's the safest, closest place?
I'd say that there's a good chance that maybe Clint's character got some sort of hot tip that there might be some cultural stuff of his there that he's come to either buy, sell, or...
Yeah, I would think, being the largest city on the island, this would be where the most information could be found, I would think. The most diverse populace would be found. So, yeah, I would think we'd be coming here mainly for information, and possibly if we're like an adventuring group, I would say just looking for odd jobs.
Okay, excellent. Now, to give you a little taste of how the economy generally works in Fenrilik, coinage is extremely rare because there are better things to be doing with metal than pressing it into coins. Most economy is done through trade, through favor. There are things you can get in most villages, such as like writs of credit. If you do a service for a person, they can write you out a writ of credit for the work you did.
Gotcha.
And sometimes those are honored between settlements, but often not. So we're going to go ahead and assume, just to get the ball rolling on the story, that you have rolled into town with a number of furs at your disposal that you are able to trade to acquire yourselves a nice place to sleep. Because after all, you've just been crossing this terrible tundra, and once you see the massive wooden walls of Kovo Kimru sort of peek up from the tree line, your first thoughts, I would assume, all turn to a comfortable place to lay your head.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
And that is easy enough to find in Kovo Kimru's largest inn, called Jermivka, which is a sort of old Fenriliki word meaning the hostel. Interesting side note, the Fenriliki language is kind of a primitive dialect of Druidic. So most druids that would make their way here from other places can understand the spoken tongue.
Right on.
But you're able to get in there and get yourselves sort of situated. We'll say that you're each carrying, let's assume, effectively 10 gold worth of furs to handle your stay, any food, drink, any additional items you would like to purchase.
Okay.
And when you step into the inn itself, this inn is largely constructed, at least on the outside, of icework. It was built by an Eshik ice walker. So the upper floors are largely, they're warm, but the surfaces themselves are made of constructed ice. And upon entering the front door, you do find that the majority... Oh, looks like I dropped one of our good friends outside of the inn by accident. 1 second.
Sorry about your luck.
You can just freeze out there. So as you step in, the first thing that you'll see is that there's this massive bear skin splayed out over the ice, and a series of tables sort of scattered about that where people could be enjoying food and drink. You do see there's a few folks sort of gathered around. It's certainly not crowded at this point. And you do see an Eshik man behind the counter, or the bar, sort of nods at you in greeting as you step in. And none of you are playing Eshik right now, so I'll just go ahead and give a real brief blurb of the Eshik. Outsiders refer to them as winter gnomes. Anyone who's met an Eshik knows better than to call them that to their face. They really don't like it. They are gnome-like in appearance, but they are constructed entirely of ice. They believe that they just one day sprung to awareness from the ice. They are probably the most populous people on the continent, and they're the most widely traveled because they don't get bothered by the cold in the slightest. And they often will lend their services to the other species who do in exchange for, stories, lore, labor. A lot of the people who would employ adventurers are among the Eshik because they can. They are able to amass wealth in a way that members of other species just aren't, thanks to their natural sort of abilities and inclinations. It appears that the innkeeper here is in fact an Eshik. You also can see there are a couple people sort of scattered around at the tables. Walking in, what would you like to do?
Well, Nick is going to find us a seat. Looks like there's an open one up there, so he'll find his way up, and he is going to be pulling out a number of purse strings that he has gathered up as his bountiful magical treasure hoard. He's counting them out on the counter as he kind of hails the barkeep for some food.
Sure. Barkeep comes over and says, "Greetings, stranger. What would you care for today? Is there anything I can do to be of service for you?"
Yes, I'd like some hard cheese and maybe some stew, something warm.
Yes, of course. And for your friends here, anything for them?
I think that's a good. Down, boys.
Settle. I believe what he meant was meat. My friend, Professor Fluffernutter, enjoys the meat.
We do have that. Do you prefer something that's more beef-oriented, or would you like? We have Walla Hog steaks back there. I can get you if you don't mind pork product.
He said he doesn't care.
Wonderful.
I'll have something stewish. Porridge. Light, but warm, thank you.
Excellent. Anything else?
Need something warm. Warmed up, preferably.
Wonderful. I will be back shortly. In the interim, and he steps around and makes his way over to your table. Sets down like a carafe. And there are mugs that appear to be basically like fired clay bowls almost. They don't really have like a handle per se. But he sets one down for each of you on the table and sets the carafe down. The carafe is smoldering, and he says, these have been imported in last season's trade. It's a warm beverage all the way from the south of Gelspad. I believe they call it coffee. I'm told it's refreshing to those of you who need warmth.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And he'll like grab it and pour a cup.
Excellent. He steps into the back hall and closes the door behind him. You can sort of hear some noises going on back there. It sounds like someone is, preparing something, or at the very least banging some pots and pans together. And the various folk that are in here dining or engaging in social interaction don't seem to be paying a whole lot of attention to you, though you do see the two humans that are sitting kind of at the south of your table do appear to be a little, I guess, taken aback by your dwarven friend.
Professor, might you come join us at the table?
Oh,
Come.
Excellent.
Good boy. Thank you.
You know what I like about this group the most is that I don't stand out.
Standard Orcs fashion, Bracha just locks eyes with Herschel, seeing as he seems to be the biggest person in the room. It just does not take his eyes off of him.
The Slytherin woman sitting at the table with him, after a minute or two, sort of leans forward and says, have you designs on my mate?
Designs.
Yes, you are eyeballing him much like you would care to drag him to a bedroom. I just would like to say, if that is the case, we can certainly make an arrangement for his time. The Eshik below, south of them, starts chuckling into her meal.
Only designs I was looking upon was to decide whether I would take his right or left leg if he made a wrong approach.
Huh?
She lets out a chuckle. Says, "That would be a sight, wouldn't it?" And he says, "Come, Wafek, you're a bit too much in your cups for this conversation. Let's finish your drink and head on home." And she says, "Nonsense! I'll not have some strangers coming in here and hitting on my man." And she slams
Calm down, Professor.
Down, dwarf. That's a bad dwarf. Bad dwarf.
Easy. I'm sorry, but my friends are a bit rude sometimes. My orcish mate here has been fighting for far too long, and he cannot turn the fight off sometimes. And my little dwarven fluffernutter friend here, well, he thinks he's a dog. So I do apologize for our antics, but please enjoy your drink with us. We mean no harm here.
She sort of looks at you, leans in onto the table for a second, sniffs the air a bit, and then slams another drink. Says, "Very well." And Herschel kind of taps her on the hand and says, "Come on, love. Let's not drink the entire week's harvest. Perhaps we should be hitting the road." About that time, the barkeep comes back out carrying a tray that's got various steaming bowls and plates on it. Walks over and sets it down before you. Sort of starts distributing the food to everyone. And says, "Meals are included with the rooms if you were of a mind to sleep here. Otherwise, I would gladly accept, say, one of those furs I see on you in exchange for the food and drink."
Well,
I believe it would be in our best interest if we were staying here tonight. So perhaps, yes, room and board would be, yes, included.
He sort of steps over and starts like looking the furs over and says, "This it's a fell deer that you took down, perhaps? Or is it Wallahog fur?" And he starts like sniffing it. "No matter. For the four of you, 5 skins for your room and board, if you don't mind." And that will roughly translate out to about 15 gold worth of furs.
Wow. Okay.
I believe that is fair. Thank you very much. With the meal, yes, thank you.
Excellent. He throws them over his arm as he turns and says, "Do be aware we've got... I would assume you'll want to sleep downstairs. There's a spring that heats it, and the floors are made of a stonework. There's also a sauna, should you care for it, to rejuvenate yourself. Should you need anything, merely shout. Otherwise, I'll fetch your room keys." He stumbles away again. He turns to Herschel and says, "I could hear Wafik from the kitchen. I think she's probably had her last drink for the day, Herschel." He nods and says, "I understand. We were blessed with very full traps this week, and she is of a celebratory mood, but you know how defensive she gets." "Aye, indeed." And starts...
Raquel leans over to Mick and says, "What's a sauna?"
It's boiling water. Humans and the other types like to take a dip and heat up and fall asleep. Very relaxing.
If we wish to be cooked.
Yeah, make you into stew. But not that hot. Not that hot.
Raquel quickly checks his stew.
It smells and looks delicious. It almost potent with spices in a way that you've not encountered probably since you were on Gelspad, and certainly not certainly doesn't appear to be humanoid meat. To the south of you, Tarna, she is nursing a cup of this warm beverage herself, and she says, "The saunas are quite comfortable here." I highly recommend them.
Well, the rate this place is, we'll have to find work before too long. There's not too many pelts on us. You wouldn't know anybody, would you?
Oh, no, I am merely a scholar, a student, really. There is sometimes work at the Wizard's Tower, but you would need to speak with one of our professors. My companion and I are just here after a day of study to unwind.
Well, maybe introductions at some point.
Yeah, that would be beautiful. I would say probably on the morrow we will be back here. When we head to classes in the morning, I can mention to my professors that there are new folk in town seeking work.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Hey, you said scholars. I forgot your name already, Catman. Weren't you looking
Catman?
Weren't you looking for people that know stuff about your people?
Yes, I believe that possibly that would be a good route to go. Wizards. Interesting. Okay. I agree. I want to go to the wizards.
All right.
Wizards.
Sarah says, "Yeah, I'll certainly."
The
see what I can
professor has
find for
eaten
you."
Fluffernutter. He's so such a lazy little dog, isn't he wonderful?
Herschel stands up.
Did I ever
and
tell you
sort
the
of-
time I met with him?
Sort of helps.
I was in the
swap
dock
up and
cave.
start walking off down to the south while you're talking. Go ahead and continue. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
But
I was
these
in the
two are
dock
starting to
caves.
walk out.
Trying to find my family when this vicious beast of a dwarf approached me in the dark. Sick, sad, malnourished. I took him to my family and they fed him. We tried to get him to speak and he would not speak. Yet he loved this little sandwich my mother used to make with a creamy white marshmallow and a peanut ground into a butter. So we called him Fluffernutter. My father called him Little Nuts. He is a good friend.
Did you get him neutered?
I don't even know if he is a he.
Then maybe spayed.
I do not know that. I do know that he is very protective of me and my family, and territorial, of course, and only eats meat, no vegetables, not at all. Unless he
About
feels
this-
sick, and then he eats a bunch of grass.
About
and
this
pukes.
time, your conversation is interrupted by a loud sort of rattling noise coming from the southern region, and you hear Wafik shout, "Your door is stuck." The innkeeper steps over and says, "Herschel, your woman is too drunk to operate a doorknob." He says, "No, she speaks true. The door is, in fact, not moving. I cannot bind it myself."
Hey, thanks for the follow, Father
And-
Charity. I appreciate
Hey,
it.
Father Charity.
Thank you,
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Bracha will stand up and make his way over. Let me each have a chance. I'll open the door.
And
Yes, lead
just
the
as-
charge, Brockal. Of course.
Just as you step over, you see the Slytherin woman is just ratcheting on this door, trying to get it to move. It's not doing so. Her husband sort of has a hand on her shoulder, and he's like, "Calm yourself, love. I'm not sure what's wrong." And just as he finishes saying that, you see this sort of wispy humanoid form emerge from the door itself and grasp out at the Slytherin woman with sort of dead eyes. It's translucent. You see sharp teeth in its mouth. And let's go ahead and have those of you who are over there that can see it give me a, we'll say, nature or arcana, whichever you prefer, check.
Okay, nature check. It's an 11.
No,
Oh, if it
according
is
to Fog of War, I do have sight on that tile there. Would I be able to roll on that?
Yes, if
Even
you
though
can
I'm over
see
by
it
the
on
desk.
map.
Okay.
Yep, if you can see it on the
Okay.
map, you can make a check.
So my natural explorer ability for the scout says that I get to double my proficiency bonus when I'm in my chosen area, which would be Arctic. So that's actually a 13 instead.
Beautiful. Excellent.
I don't know nothing about no wispy ghost.
You certainly recognize it with a 13. You've seen these type of spirits before. They're known as Rekaraks, and they are the hungry undead that are generally bound to a location or an object, and basically try to literally eat the energy of the living to perpetuate themselves. And this thing sort of appears and dives forward at our drunken Slytherin friend, tries to take a bite out of her,
Oh boy.
and gets a critical success. When hit.
Man.
So he bites into the side of her face and just like rips her face in half. Herschel begins screaming, and let's go ahead and have rolls.
Initiative.
Is there any
Initiative
more
rolls.
info? I actually rolled an 18 on that. Is there
Oh,
any more
sure.
info that would be required?
Yes. So what you would know with the 18 is that they are largely unable to wander on their own. They can't go
Okay.
very far from their object of binding. Usually can be found within, at most, 500 feet of the object that they haunt. Oftentimes, you would also know that they're oftentimes employed by particularly unscrupulous raiders out in the wilds who will identify one of their objects, basically placate them with, by feeding them enemies long enough to gain control and trust of them, and then unleash them as guards for a region.
Do they just
Okay.
lob the item in like a ghost grenade?
It seems that way.
That's one way. That's one way that they could be used. They're normally used like defensively, so somebody will like use it as a guardian for like their home or their stronghold. But they can be used offensively if you throw an object.
I'm bastardizing the idea of ghost grenades from an X5e game. That's all. That's happened. I'm writing that shit down for later. That's good.
All
It
right.
can be done.
So I got a 19 on my initiative.
Beautiful. Just making sure that I've got my bases covered here, initiative-wise. And it becomes immediately clear that and yours was Mick, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
The first thing you notice is, like I said, like her head pretty much splits in half under this bite.
Jeez.
She is already knocking on heaven's door when that attack hits. And Herschel immediately begins screaming in horror as he sees his wife getting bitten through by this ghost, and you see as the ghost is chewing on her flesh that it becomes slightly more substantial. And that will bring us Mick, what would you like to do?
Well, being a coward, Mick doesn't like the idea of going after this thing while it's looking at anybody, him in particular. So I think I'm going to have Mick wait until he sees where the ghost is going to go, and then he's going to try to sneak up, a little love tap, and run away.
Okay. So just readying an action to sort of step in and try to stab or assault this creature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basic kind of just looking behind a chair around that corner.
Excellent. That will bring us to Wafik, who's going to make her first death save
Man.
of the day. Let's see how that
Her
goes.
first action will be a death save.
Yeah.
That's what she gets.
She is
Yep.
bleeding rather profusely. It does not look good for her. But
Nice thing is she's so drunk she doesn't know it.
Yep.
right. Fun fact about alcohol: it is a blood thinner. So
Uh-huh.
she.
And
she
technically,
is
according to
bleeding-
chemistry, it's also a solution.
This is true. She's bleeding freely. That will bring us to Treek. What would you like to do?
I believe Treek will take a step over here. Little 5-foot step, which gives me full view of said ghost. And I'd like to draw my longbow.
Excellent.
That was considered is drawing a weapon a bonus action in 5e?
Drawing a
Hell,
weapon-
it's like I
no,
don't
you
even know.
just- You get a use object basically for free.
Okay.
And then if you
Okay.
want to take another use object action, then you can
Yeah.
do so. But swapping weapons is a free action.
Okay. Then I will. Clearly, this ghost is up to no good. They will get pierced with an arrow.
Excellent.
It's taking a while. There it goes.
Wonderful. A 13 will absolutely hit this creature.
Nice.
Okay.
And
will
I'm
roll
assuming
damage.
there's nothing magical about that weapon. Is that correct?
There is not.
Excellent. So you deal 7. It will suffer 3 of that.
Ooh.
As the arrow does pass directly through it, sticking in the door behind it.
A little bit see-through.
Now, with that 18 that I rolled, would I have any knowledge on whether or not these ghosts are particularly resistant against cold?
To
As
the
in
best
cold
of your
magic?
knowledge, to the best of your knowledge, with an 18, you're aware that they're immune to damage from cold magic.
Okay.
They're creatures of the frost. It's not.
Sure.
They're also
Sure,
immune
makes
to
sense.
necrotic and poison, like any other undead would be.
Okay.
I'll also give you that you're aware that if you are able to locate its object, that would, at worst, give you the ability to control it, and quite possibly the ability to just destroy it by destroying the object.
Okay.
It's good info.
Any movement
that would be my
or
round.
anything else?
I took a
you-
5-foot step, so that's it.
Well, you've got your full move. I mean, you can move 30
Mhm.
feet and act. So if you want,
Yeah, I'm
you still have 25 feet if you wanted to use it.
Yeah. Nope, I'm good. I've got a good line of sight on her, and if she moves anywhere within that opening, we're still good.
Excellent.
Nice.
The apprentice wizard Tarna, who is in her first week of wizard school, is going to take this opportunity to run behind the bar and hide.
I can't even
Well
cast
played.
cantrip yet.
All I've got is frostbolt. No.
She's got flame bolt. She's probably the most effective one in the bar. She's gonna hide. That's all right.
And that will bring us to Professor Fluffernutter, aka Little Nuts. I'm just going to refer to you like you're a rapper now.
AKA these nuts.
Oh man.
What would you like to
Treek
do?
yells, "Sick 'em, boy!"
Oh.
In my attack, I'm going to burn 2 key points to activate Strike of the Winter Soul.
Okay.
And then I'm going to burn... I've never burned key points, so I think I could... Can I spend as much as I want?
You can spend them until you run out. Yeah.
Awesome! So
But
as
you
my
are
bonus
limited.
action...
You are limited by the normal action routines, so you can't. So
Right.
like if as long as it doesn't cost.
action...
Right.
That is a bonus action. Okay. So then I'm going to bite her face.
Beautiful.
Quality.
And so, Strike of the Winter Soul. Let's see.
I'm going to use, since I can convert my unarmed strike, and I can Strike of the Winter Soul. At 3rd level, you spend 2 key points as a bonus action to direct heat or cold into each hand for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Travis,
Yes.
can I direct heat or cold out of my throat?
I'll allow it. You can direct it really into any unarmed strike. So a bite's an unarmed strike.
Yes!
I'll allow it.
All right.
He's
Hot mouth!
got hot tooth,
mouth.
cold tooth going on.
That's
I
right.
got a hot mouth! So I'm going to bite her face with a hot mouth.
Excellent. Go ahead and make your unarmed strike. This is technically a martial arts attack. So
And I get 2 strikes. Yes. I do. No, I don't. I can make an unarmed
you have
strike
a
as
bonus
action.
to that.
My bonus action. Yeah, I do. I hit a 12.
12. Excellent. That will hit. So go ahead and roll the appropriate damage.
Hot damage.
And I do 6 points of fire damage.
Beautiful.
Out of my
That
mouth!
becomes very apparent to you that this spirit is in no way resistant to that damage.
Nice.
And it lets out a squeal as you bite into it. Looking at you in somewhat of a state of confusion.
As most people do.
That brings us to Herschel, who will take this opportunity to grab his wife and disengage and drag her. Fortunately, she is tiny and he is mighty. So he begins dragging her toward the stairs.
All right.
The barkeep grabs like what looks like some sort of like a dining implement, maybe like a 2-pronged fork,
Mm-hmm.
steps into a line of sight and will make a ranged attack. This will be a disadvantage because it's he's throwing this fork.
As he's throwing a fork.
You know, as you do. Cutlery.
Shit.
All right, so 15 will hit, absolutely.
That's awesome.
So that's 4 piercing plus, since there is a creature who is allied within 5 feet, he will go ahead and apply some sneak attack damage to that. So it's 9 for, it's 13 cut in half. It takes 6. As this fork goes through and also impales itself in the door behind the spirit.
Nice. Later, Animal G.
That will bring us to Bracha the Line Breaker.
Nice.
So I've seen this thing take an arrow and a fork, and those things don't look like they're really doing much, but somehow the dwarf bite seems to be working on this thing.
Yes, and you can see it's tolerably warm inside of this place, but it's still cold enough that you can see your breath in here. So when he's releasing fire damage from his mouth, it's definitely steaming. It's obvious to you that there is something that's generating heat about that attack. You may or may not have witnessed him do this before.
And it looks so fucking metal.
It does.
So
it's
what
almost
I will
like fire
do-
breath.
I got a couple interesting options. What I am going to do is I will step up 5 feet into this thing's face, and I will hit it with a distracting strike.
Nice.
Excellent.
And what that is going to do, if I hit with it, that is, I think I get a +5 to this. Yes, I do. Oh, that's a nice hit. That's a 23.
That will absolutely hit.
I do standard damage, but I get to give my D8 superiority die to an ally, and he gets to add that to his next damage. So I'm going to give that to my dwarven friend who's doing full damage, and instead of doing the extra damage myself, I will distract this thing so that he gets an extra D8 damage on his next bite.
Nice.
So that will do... I just do a D8 +3. I do 7 with my axe.
Okay, and that's just straight slashing, right?
Yeah, that's just straight slashing. But it distracts it so that the dwarf gets the superiority die.
I love it. All right, so
That's
that
good
will
stuff.
be 3 that it will actually suffer. And that brings us to our good friend Yarnaj, who is the other wizard school student who is going to dive under this table.
Smart man. Or woman. I think it's man.
The chef grabs a boiling pot full of soup and begins making his way out. You see this large burly human carrying a large boiling pot of soup, and it gets to about here with it. Looks like they're ready to come pour this on this creature.
Nice.
Don't waste the stew.
And the Eshik that's sitting at this table just sort of slowly stands up and walks over and is just kind of watching. That will
sus.
bring us forth to the next round of combat.
Can I act before the end there? Since
I'm sorry, what was that?
Since I held my action, can I hit that in before we end the round?
Yeah, you can absolutely dive in if you like at that point.
Is there any coffee on any of the tables nearby?
Probably not. The only
You throw
inhabited
coffee, you're a monster.
the only inhabited table that was near you was the one the Eshik was sitting at, so they probably were not drinking coffee.
Okay. And up here to the right in the center of the room with the water around it, I assume that's like an oven or like a stove or something.
It's basically a steam pipe that runs up from the bottom that allows the central area to be heated. So there is hot water moving through it for sure that you can access if you get over to it.
Well, I think this round I'm gonna hit and move. So Mick's gonna step on in, get himself a little smacky smack with the old short sword. And
Okay.
let's see. An 8, so that's probably not going to hit. And then I will use disengage with cunning action to GTFO. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll get up in here, diving past these chairs, getting close to this pipe, so that maybe next time I can do something cooler.
Rock and roll. And yeah, you can clearly see like the steam coming up from the pipe, and you can hear water rushing through it. So there's definitely a source there.
Nice.
But that brings us to our good friend the Rec, who is going to take this opportunity to activate his horrifying visage. So I would like all of you who are within 60 feet and can see the creature to make a wisdom saving throw.
That's not good.
Do I have anything for that? No,
Alright.
no, I don't. Just
Did that actually roll a 3?
It's out of
No, I
character.
rolled a 2. Okay.
you rolled a 2 plus 1.
I rolled a 2. All right. Fair enough.
I got an 18.
I'm
Excellent.
not expecting to be doing any better than that myself.
You're not
here.
using the dice roller. That's not fair.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 5. Look at that.
Here, I'll use it. Dice roller. Where is it at? Let's see. Pull out the chat. It is like chugging. Like I can't get anything to really keep up over here. Come on, baby. Open. Maybe.
You having a bad internet day?
Well, he's running stream, so it's
Yeah, it's fighting me hard here.
Oh, that'll do it. Yeah, use your manual dice. Don't let.
Well, in that case, I got an 18.
We'll operate on the. And you're good. You're good to go. Herschel is good.
I'm not.
All right. If you fail that saving throw, you are frightened. But in addition to being frightened, the barkeep is fine. This ain't his first rodeo.
oh, wow.
Chef is cool. I just need to check and see who can see this thing. Yarnaj and Tarna can't see it. Glitter I absolutely can. And she's good to go as well.
Dang, look
so
those crits.
I
Awesome.
know.
those of you who
Good thing he's not trying to kill
failed,
us right now.
unfortunately, are frightened of the ghost. And Treek, you will age.
Both of us. Yeah. Yeah, both of us are under 5.
Bracha as well,
Yeah.
Will age 14 years.
Well, that's probably enough to kill an orc. They don't have long lifespans, right? I mean,
Oh, man.
rip.
They can live into their 60s. So it certainly is enough that it is like you start feeling arthritic pains coming up and like having a harder time drawing breath. And the other side effect, of course, being that you are frightened of the creature. So therefore unable to approach it. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, while frightened, your attacks against it have disadvantage.
Disadvantage. I believe
So
so.
that does not grant it advantage on you, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So yeah, it's a terrifying presence, as it basically does the whole, tell them Large Marge sent you and rips its face off. And is suitably horrifying. That does, however, eat its actions, so that brings us to Mick.
All right. So standing next to this pipe here, is there any obvious like bowl or anything I can get the hot water in, or anything like that?
Why don't you go ahead and give me an investigation check?
All right. Let's see. Investigation. A 7.
Excellent. So you're looking around. The only thing you see that's really in grabbing distance, there's sort of a bowl is generous, kind of a curved plate that has the various bits of what appear to be maybe wallahog giblets where Glitter Eye was sitting.
Mm-hmm.
And there are the empty booze cups that are up at the table where Herschel and Wafek were at. However, the booze cups aren't much larger than like a shot glass.
Okay. Well, then I will grab the plate and carefully get some hot water into it from there.
All right. You're able to scoop some out, absolutely.
Assume that's an action for that, so...
That will be a use object action, yeah, because you're using one to grab the plate and then one to actually fill it with water.
Hey, what's wrong with you?
Yelling at the guys who are running away.
What's wrong with you? I'm not the brave one. Ah!
I'm like kind of tucked down, hiding behind the chair, so I'll go ahead and hide.
Okay.
That's a staggeringly low roll. A 10, apparently, even though I have expertise in stealth. That's amazing.
Rock and roll. Good job. Well, we're all very proud of you making the attempt.
I love these dice tonight.
To Wafek, and we'll see how she reacts to this whole situation with her second death save of the night. I think it's important. She got a 19. She's 2-0 right now. She might just be all right.
Not a girl.
Yeah. Despite being utterly vishnuckered, she is not bleeding out. Treek, it is your action. What would you like to do in light of these developments?
That is a little different than what I was first imagining. I don't require anyone talking about that. So Treek is going to hide under the table like Yarnage.
Excellent. While you're under the table, why don't you give me an investigation check? And you may have advantage due to your vantage point.
I will do that. Let me look at my character. Investigation.
Or
that is one of my skills. Okay.
I was going to say, okay.
I was just checking to see if I had a skill in it.
If you were not proficient in that, but are proficient in perception, I would allow a perception check as well.
Okay, I have both, but my perception's better. So whichever one you want me to use.
You go ahead with the perception if it's better. Why not?
Okay.
I am a kind and generous god.
Much appreciated.
You just took 14 years off my life.
Just fast forward you through some really bad years, man. One of those was 2020.
Right.
It was
They
rough.
only get rid of the bad ones at the end, right? So.
Exactly.
It's a rolling. It's a rolling. Oh
Think
my
about
gosh.
As it do.
Another 2. Another 2.
Excellent.
Phenomenal.
You do have
My
advantage,
D20s
so-
keep rolling 2s. Oh, I have advantage. Okay, I'll do that again.
Beautiful.
An 11.
Yeah, you don't notice much except that there's a big scary ghost over there. Ghost. That's
I'm a little preoccupied.
A little bit. And that's fair. Do you want to make like a hide check, or do you just want to be under the table and have some cover?
I would think, following kind of like within like the racial way that the race is kind of portrayed, I think I would attempt to hide and cower a bit.
Sure. You may make a stealth check just to see if you beat its passive perception.
There's a +2 after this. Sorry,
Oh,
I didn't add the modifier.
So it probably will not notice where you are at. You're fairly certain. You think
Okay.
you have a good safe hiding spot.
Yeah.
That will complete your turn and bring us to Tarna, who is going to sit on her Tookus, but because of where she's at, she also does get to make that lovely perception check. So let's see if she notices this for you. With advantage, she does. She shouts, "Hey, somebody come over here!" And that's her whole action. Professor Uppernounder. Indeed. Now, are you were not frightened, is that correct? Am I remembering that correctly?
Oh,
He wasn't affected. No.
Yeah, he was. Look at that.
Oh,
Oh. Gee.
No, he rolled up there that he wasn't. He got a 15 earlier.
Nobody rolled a 1 on his attack.
Well, that'll do
Oh.
it. That is the natural state for Levi.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm just saying.
That's
He may
good.
not have been affected, but I think he was affected.
well,
Yeah.
So you got the 2 on the first attack, a 1 on your second. So is that like a flurry? I'm assuming. All right.
Of bites.
Flurry of bites.
So
What
one
did I
of
give
those
him?
will hit. That's the good
What?
thing. You will get one of those will hit. So go ahead and make your attack or make your damage roll, including the
You
extra
get an extra
D8.
D8.
Beautiful.
It is a beautiful thing.
So we're looking at 10 fire, which it has no resistance to. But you did botch somewhere in there. So while you are inside of this thing, like chewing on it, it is going to basically sort of interpose itself through your space.
Ooh.
Definitely eating the fire damage in the process. But while it's back there, it's going to go ahead and deal, or as it's passing through you, I guess I should say, it's going to go ahead and deal you 5 force damage.
Oof.
And that will bring us to Herschel, unless the professor has any movement he would like to take. Herschel
hold on.
is going to... Oh, sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to take my damage off my ticker. Okay, here we go. I will.
Dance around it, basically. Excellent.
Mhm.
Herschel will take this opportunity to run the hell down the stairs with his wife.
Well, see you later. I won't help you out after all. Grab a bandage on that thing.
Don't worry, I got this.
She's only missing
that
half her head.
brings us-
It's fine.
That brings us to our barkeep, who reaches under the bar, pulls out a hand crossbow,
Ooh.
and lets one rip. Ugh, not with that roll.
Yeah, we're doing great. Team Good Guys is just killing it.
It goes wide and sticks in the wall. No luck there. Bracha, that brings us to you.
All right, Bracha, being scared out of his gourd and 14 years older suddenly, is going to start by taking his bonus action. Ooh, is that how that works? Yeah, I think I can. A shield slam.
Yeah, you can take your bonus action at any point during your action routine.
Yeah, I'm going to take a shield slam because I'm a shield master. I have the feat.
Okay.
And I would like to shield bash this thing to knock it back 5 feet away from me. So I'm going to just move up. I'm going to move up to here and then give it the good old what for on the shield bash.
Okay. And that will be made at disadvantage. Right?
Yes. Okay. So
you're frightened. So.
Yeah, that's fine. Good. I'm glad I get to do this again. Can't be any worse than that, right?
What'd you roll?
And with the shield bash, that is an athletics check that they then resist, right? Or is it an attack?
It says I make an attack.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I mean,
Yeah. So you swipe at it, but kind of at the last minute, you lose your nerve and sort of pull back away from it. You do realize, though, as you were kind of swiping in its direction, like you're pretty sure your shield entered its physical presence, and it didn't, and you didn't really encounter any mass. So you're not even sure if it would have worked.
yeah, that's unfortunate.
Worth the
rest of
college
my
try.
The rest of my move is I'm gonna let's see, that was 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm gonna run to here, right here to the edge of the stairs.
All right. As you leave its space, it is going to take a bite at you.
Oh man, your name must be crying.
Does a 14 hit you?
No.
Excellent. It chomps.
As long as I get to count armor, it's not doing like touch attack, is it?
No. Your
Okay.
armor class
Yeah,
is still your armor class.
Okay, yeah. Then as long as it's not touch attack, then it misses. When I get over there, I'm going to take my action, and I'm going to use my my maneuver of rally.
Okay.
And I'm going to drill sergeant yell at the dead Slytherin that nobody told them they're allowed to be down. You get your ass up, soldier. And I give it a D8 plus 1 temporary hit points.
Nice.
Beautiful. I love it. That is sufficient to rouse her from death's door.
3.
And those...
You get a whole 3 hit points back. You stupid rat, get your butt up. No one told you you're allowed to die on my watch.
And those last for how long?
That's a good question. Battle maneuvers, rally. Creature gains temporary hit points equal to your superiority die plus your charisma modifier.
There's no ending condition listed?
No, it doesn't say that under the Battle Master's maneuver.
Then they would just stay until...
I assume the end of combat.
As far as I know, temporary hit points, unless they have a condition that ends them, remain until you either lose them or you rest.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, better than I thought then.
Yeah, so she's alive. You have just saved her life. And Herschel looks up at you and says, thank you. Blown away by this act of kindness from a man that he thought was going to be a rival just moments ago. Yarnage says, takes his turn to shout at her friend, or at his friend, "This is no time to be brave, Tarna," and stay hiding, because that goes to Spooky.
Team hiding is doing great up here, by the way. These 4 in the backside, myself included.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And the chef shouts one side and just runs forward the full 30 that he can move as the Eshik steps to the side. And Professor Fluffernutter does feel the heat of this boiling implement making its way into his immediate vicinity. And our Eshik friend is going to step around and just make her way up to the door and try to and start trying to open it. And she shouts, "It's no good. It's not opening." That brings us back to our ghosty friend, who's going to try to take a bite out of dwarf.
One bite
Does a
deserves
17
another.
hit?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's a
You will
yes.
take 3 cold, and it will gain 5 temporary hit points.
Uh-oh.
That does make its full turn, and that will bring us up to Mick. Now
Excellent.
you are now holding this plate of steaming, boiling water. So I would like you to go ahead and give me just a Constitution saving throw, DC 10. Make sure
Oh,
you
boy.
can hang on to this without scorching your fingers and going, it's too hot, and dropping it.
Well, that's a 22. I can do those saves, apparently. That's what I do. Wow.
It's better than nothing. You are solid. It's hot. It's unpleasant. Your fingerprints are going to be a little funky for the next week or so, but
Yep.
you've got this.
Yeah, it's really bad considering I think I have vulnerability to fire. So Mick will carefully waddle around and chuck this water. If my token will stop moving, there he goes. And I will chuck the water at the spirit and hopefully do something effective here for the first time this battle.
Okay. Yeah, so that'll basically be. Do you have like a ranged attack?
I do.
It would be a ranged attack. You'd probably be making this a disadvantage because it says like not a weapon. You're using it.
I don't know what you're talking about. This thing will definitely hurt me here in a second. Well, disadvantage stops that from being a crit. So that is an 18.
That is a good solid hit. Let's go ahead and have that do a D6 of fire damage
Very nice.
to our ghostly friend.
Wow. Okay, that's a 6. And by chance, does this count for a sneak attack since there is another person in melee with it?
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
So total of 13.
Nice. As that water hits it, it kind of has the same effect that you would expect of pouring a jug of boiling water onto snow. Like steam just pours up from this thing. It lets out a horrible hiss. It is definitely unhappy with its existence at this point.
And then I will have Mick get out of here because, all right, I did my part. It's all for you. And then I will bonus action GTFO if
All right.
I get moved.
And as you're bouncing away, now, so did you run up to where you were within 5 feet of it?
No, I was standing 10 feet away, it looked like. And
10 back? All right.
yeah, it was in
So as you're
that tile.
as you're backing away, Tarna is like waving at you and pointing at this table.
Huh? Okay, so in that case, maybe I'll meet her eyes, kind of look over there, meet her eyes, look over there again, and then I'll instead move that direction. So then we'll get to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably like I think here.
Okay. Excellent. And then that will bring us to Treek.
Treek's favorite dog just got bit, which angers Treek. And question. So technically we didn't do this initiating combat, but the Krampic have a racial ability called disarming appearance.
Yes.
And basically, people drop their guard around them because they're small, they feel like they're worthless or whatever, and their first strike on them, they get a bonus to the damage if they hit.
That's pretty cool.
Correct.
Would by chance me coming out of this frightened ability after not doing anything last round kind of trigger that, since we didn't use it for the start of combat?
You didn't damage this thing yet, right?
No, I hit him the first round.
Oh, I mean, I'll allow it just because we missed it, because
Okay.
it's a new thing that we missed, so it's fine.
Yeah, I didn't read that until after that first round went through.
No worries.
So,
yeah, I'll allow it on this one.
Shriek is then going to take one step right here. I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark as a bonus action on the ghost. And I'm going to fire my bow.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Let's see. We're going to hit longbow. We're going to
Good, solid
say
hit.
disadvantage. Still get a 15.
Still a good solid hit.
Okay. Okay. So then we're going to do this damage 5 plus my level times 2, which would be 8.
Okay, so we're looking at 13 piercing, which will get reduced down to 6.
But then my Hunter's Mark gives a D6.
Right, and that does not get reduced by its damage reduction. It's magic damage.
Okay.
Ooh.
I got it. 2.
Excellent. So this thing is not having a great time at the moment. You can see there's steam sort of pouring off of it. Its form is starting to discorporate. It seems to be almost weeping and look like it's mildly confused.
Hmm.
That will bring us to Tarna, and she shouts to you, "Under the table!" And that brings us to Professor Fluffernutter. Chomp, chomp, a chewy chomp. You do hit, surprisingly.
Shoot, shot.
All 3 times.
Oh, hit.
Oh,
Nice.
Now that he doesn't get my superiority die, he hits all 3 times.
Naturally.
Levi just has a thing about not being superior.
Yeah. He's so used to
Okay,
being
so-
DM.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at a grand total of 14 fire damage.
Mm-hmm.
As you start chewing on it in this frenzy, and it dissipates. As it dissipates, Nick, you're in the perfect position to see underneath the table. This little statuette sort of drops from under the table.
Huh. All right. If we're out of initiative type stuff, then I will kind of look at it from down here and kind of fish it out of there with my short sword.
Okay. You pull it out. It looks like a small statuette of maybe an Eshik or a halfling, perhaps. Looks like it was carved from ivory, probably the tusk of a wallahog. And it looks to you like someone had... there's like some gum on the bottom of it. It looks to you like someone had possibly like stuck this thing under the table.
Classic. Anyone know what this is?
I believe that could be The source of the ghost, the spirit. We should probably destroy that as quick as possible.
Okay. Yeah. Do you know how anything special has to happen, or is it just throw it on the ground?
Break it.
Okay.
He'll kind of set it next to the table and then just like jam it off the side so it falls off. But he doesn't want to touch it.
It literally just falls over and shatters. There doesn't seem to be any sort of specific resilience to it. It doesn't look like it's in, there's any special properties to it. And when it shatters, there's no climactic sort of boom or anything. It just sadly falls and breaks to pieces. As you see the professor circle around it a few times and then take a leak on it.
That's very
As
natural.
you do.
Yeah.
I'd
This
rush
person
to my dog. I cast Cure Wounds on him because he was bitten by this ghost.
Excellent. Go ahead and roll it. You see the chef like almost throw the stew, but then like catch it and just set it down on the table. Like, oh, let's not waste the stew. And down here in this hallway, Herschel like looks up and says, "How can I ever repay you? You've saved my bride."
Take me to the
Boom! 10.
to the sauna. My bones ache.
Of course, right this way. And he begins leading you down the stairs the rest of the way. You emerge in the basement.
I tell him, like, I'm taking 5.
All right. Let me see what this
Well
door will
deserved,
open.
Bracha.
Don't want to be trapped in here. That'd be bad.
So I'm gonna go down to the door to the place and see if it'll open now, and if not, I'll try to use my thieves tools.
All right. Go ahead and make a. It certainly is not opening. Go ahead and make a check with your thieves tools.
Man, these dice hate me today. What does my sheet say? That is a 10.
Excellent. You not only cannot open it, but you're not sure why. Like, you're pretty sure that the tumblers aren't locked. That it is sealed by some other design. And Bracha, Herschel starts walking you through this sort of central area. You see kind of an icy offset construct amid the various guest rooms. And Herschel says, "This way, please." And he's still carrying Wafik. And leads you down into the sauna.
Ooh, sauna.
Sauna.
Man, when you did that paint, it did this on my screen. It just like took like 20 seconds to do its animation.
He was saying if
Which
it's going
was-
slow, if you refresh the screen, sometimes that catches up like that.
Which animation was that?
The paint that you did.
Oh. Yeah, Bracha, I'll move you into the actual sauna room here. When you step in, Bracha, you see there's a Slytherin woman sitting in there, just wrapped up in like towels, just sort of breathing in with this just huge smile on her face, eyes closed. Seems completely unaware of any difficulties going on anywhere else, rocking back and forth.
I lean over towards Herschel. Is that what you do in a sauna?
It's quite relaxing, yes. And Herschel says, Spelton, we've had a problem. Can you tend to my wife? She's been wounded. And she sighs and gets up and walks over and says, oh, goodness, dear, what did you do to yourself? Oh, my goodness, you were chewed upon, looks like. Starts investigating her wounds. Reaches up and casts a Cure Wounds spell on her.
Strange manner of ghosts tried to eat her.
Really? Ghosts at the inn? No one's
Some
died
manner of,
recently.
some manner of statue summoned it. At a large round table near the end of the bar. By chance, those of you who've been here longer, who was sitting there?
Oh, I wouldn't know. I haven't been upstairs in days.
I look at Herschel and Wappik.
You'll have to forgive me, Wallach says. I was too far in my cups. Herschel says, I really was not paying attention. Perhaps the wizard students would know.
Unfortunate.
Quite, but in the meantime, we should rest. I'm certain that the threat is gone. Once we can find out who's responsible, we'll handle it.
I'm sure the rabid dwarf is all over it. I just kick back against the edge of the sauna. With my dwarf friend upstairs, we'll get to the bottom of this.
Beautiful. It is very relaxing. It does offer some release and respite to your aching arthritic joints at this point.
I look at Wayfick and I say, I am getting too old for this shit.
Like literally tonight. Tonight, I'm getting too old for this.
I wasn't feeling it so much earlier, but I feel my age suddenly.
She nods and says, I feel the same creeping time. Whilst that exchange is going on downstairs, the rest of you up top, the barkeep has sort of stepped up and asked, does anyone remember who was sitting there last? I can't imagine this thing has been there for long. And Mick, you're plinking at the thieves' tools.
Mm-hmm.
The Eshik woman next to you says that's not going to work.
Yeah, why not?
It seems as though these doors are magically bound.
But there's got to be a window or something.
And so Mick will start looking around for a window.
There are on the second floor.
All right.
Second floor. That's going to be a long drop. I'll take a look.
And he'll scurry upstairs and look through the window.
She says, can anyone cast knock as you're heading up the stairs?
Nope.
And you make your way upstairs to the next floor. When you emerge, you come out. Basically, you can see that you can see down into the floor below you. Most of this floor is open. There are a few chairs that are just sort of set out, maybe for people to like engage in like a card or a dice game in the hallway here on this balcony. There is a guest room that's right here above kind of the doors, and then there are guest rooms along the far side. You do see an elderly orc man sitting in the far northeast corner, wrapped in a blanket and looking out the window. And you do see a Krampek woman and another Taliesin man sitting across the way. having a discussion at a table, just due north of you.
Hey, did anyone see who was sitting at the big table in the southeast corner?
The ooze-like creature stands up. This one appears to be an orc imprint, or perhaps something larger. Humanoid, and steps over and says, I paid no attention. What was the ruckus downstairs?
Just terrible ghosts. Flesh hungry. I see.
Ghosts? I don't believe in such a thing. And right as he says that, you see another Rekarak appear, basically spring up from the table that he's standing next to, and take a chunk out of his face.
Oh boy!
As it bites him, it deals no damage because it's cold, and you're immune to that, aren't you?
Oh yeah. Colds are friend like that stuff.
It bites him, and he sort of looks at it with a bit of confusion.
See, there it is. There's another one.
To the non-believers.
Whilst that's going on up top, before we drop back into an initiative situation, what is going on the main floor? What are you doing during this?
I'm guessing. I'm just waiting on the barkeep to make a decision. It's his place. I'm waiting on the barkeep to come up to these doors and figure out what's going on.
Yeah, he says the girl is right. These are magically bound. There must be a spellcaster here. We must be under some sort of attack. Let's get everyone out of the rooms, and we'll maybe search their possessions. Yes. Right about that time, you hear this sort of ruckus start upstairs.
Fluffernutter, do you think that might be our friend up there?
Excellent.
Well, let's go.
While that's going on, don't move your tokens because we're going to be going into some initiatives. But
Okay.
while that is going on, we also, this is my favorite thing about having everybody on different floors.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Are you suggesting that most parties don't split?
No, I'm saying I love it. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Don't worry, I'll be quick to
While
run away.
that's going on, as you are sort of relaxing, Bracha, you close your eyes and take in the steam and let it just sort of work its way into your aching bones. And you open your eyes just in time to see another one of these creatures sort of floating out of the bathroom across the way into the hallway. And so that will, we're going to have the joy of having initiative for everyone that's in this building right now. It's going to be great. So
No.
let me add everybody from every map.
Hey,
I'm a 19 this time.
I am also a 19.
Beautiful. Fortunately, the tool does let me do that. It's kind of a neat feature of it. I can get all 3 maps on the same initiative tracker.
Let's see, I'll bring the battle map that I'm on back here in a second.
Sure. Yeah, if you have like a tech thing, you gotta address, tech first. Did anyone roll their initiative analog?
I
Not
did.
using their initiative key?
Yeah, I did. 19.
Okay. What? 19?
Mhm.
Excellent. Let me get you just marked in here.
Yeah, it's been running like this since the start for me.
That's crazy.
It's like the animated billowing cloud is just like.
Is the dynamic lighting giving you a trouble? I can try to bring it to something that's a little less. Let's see if making it a little less animated will help.
It's cool looking though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
How about that? Does that seem to be a little less intense?
Maybe a touch.
It'd be all right.
Let's see what you guys think in the home audience. So my mouse now moves around smooth. So there's a plus.
That's good.
Yeah, same. Mine's not doing it either, but that's fine.
It's well, we'll work with it.
Oh. Let's see.
It's a little quicker.
And I'm just trying to pull them off of all of the pull it off all the maps too, because they are unconnected. So like the dynamic lighting settings are not necessarily the same by map.
Gotcha.
Not global. That's pretty cool.
That's kind of neat.
Yeah, so you can have it. You can customize it. It's nice for building a custom experience. It's not so nice when you're trying to make it all stop being a little less processing.
Well, the good news is now the mixer is back to running at its normal pace, so I don't see it just jumping all over. Can I actually open the roller now? That's the next question. Oh, it pops out. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. That's like life changing when you realize you can pop that thing out of there.
No, I mean literally, I can look at it now. Before it would not come out no matter what.
It wasn't showing up at all.
Yeah, none at all.
Lovely.
Let's pop that off.
All right. Well, I think we have managed to sort out all of our tech
Nice.
Issues.
I hope so.
And my deepest apologies for the.
Oh, that's all right.
Oh, no. Nothing to be apologizing for. I apologize. My computer's CPU would not handle it.
Is what it is. All right. So, I believe the first action will be once again going to our good friend, the professor.
He's vicious.
Is it these notes?
Is a professor just looking up at the sky?
I don't think we have anything on our floor.
You don't.
Yeah.
But you can clearly hear some sort of difficulty occurring above you.
Treek will make eye contact with Fluffernutter and just shake his head down.
I love the fact that our ranger's pet is another player.
Yes! He is my companion.
Pretty amazing.
And I will I will dash. So I get 90 feet of movement this turn.
Ooh.
Damn.
It's a quick boy.
You will be able to crack that door open, no problem, as part of your move. Let me actually open it for you. There you go. And how much have you burned by getting on the other side of the stairs?
I was over here by. Hold on. So.
Whoops. That's not the button I wanted to push.
Well, hold on. Let me go back to where he was.
I was going to say, you can just do the hold down shift and
It was
drag
shift.
on the map.
I hit spacebar, which
Oh, yeah,
opened
that
up my
pops
character
it.
sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the stairs is 40, so I got 50 more movement.
Beautiful. All right, so the stairs is actually only 10 feet to get you to the next floor. So,
Okay, so I got 30 feet. No, yes, 40 feet left. I guess I need to move to that next layer.
Yep. And I'll get you over there just 1 second. There you are.
Just right in there.
That's all I got left.
So you run up on this thing and start growling.
Mhm.
Next up, that brings us to Campfire, our good orcish friend who's sitting over here in the corner and is going to take this opportunity to do not a damn thing. Wafek is going to scream down in the basement. Nick, it is your action. What would you like to do?
I yell across to the other balcony over there. Look for a ceramic or ivory or something underneath the table, and then break it. And I'm going to take a quick run over in front of this room. I'm going to look in to see if there's anything stashed underneath a bed or a table or anything like that in here.
So tell me, as a player, are you able to? Do you see a trigger there at the door? Like if you hover over that door, do you see a door show up?
I do, yes. Oh, that's neat.
You should be able to click that and pop the door open.
Ew.
Um,
Oh.
Yeah, and one of the neat effects of this is, as the game master, you can actually edit those triggers to give like a DC for the check. So like it's locked, but it won't unlock unless you hit the roll.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's some neat little stuff in there. Go ahead and give me an investigation check if you do not mind.
Okay, where's my character sheet? That is +2. Okay. Hey! Apparently the digital dice likes me, so at 21.
Beautiful. Yeah, so as soon as you run in this room, it becomes abundantly clear to you that this room itself has not been occupied probably within the last week or so, at least. It's clean, everything is tidy and in place, and you don't find anything that leaps out at you as being, something that strikes you as not belonging there.
Gotcha. And this window that's next to me is, what's the landing look like?
You're basically, from the bottom of that window to the ground, you're looking at about 15 feet.
Oh.
The downside, though, is the window appears to be not made out of a separate material. So it's an icework that's just been modified to be clear enough to allow light through. But you can't open the windows up here.
Oh, no.
Why would you open a window in a place that's...
You make a solid point. You make a solid point. Oh, no.
They're aesthetic. That's all.
I'm trapped. All right. And then I will I will get back to where the door is and just kind of be peeking out. And then that's, I guess, my turn. There we go. Now I can see
Beautiful.
everything.
And that will bring us to Bracha back down on the basement floor. So you've spotted this thing. Wafik has spotted it, and she is terrified. She doesn't need to. It doesn't need to use any powers to inflict some fear on her. She has
Auto frightened.
Yep.
So it's pretty hot in the sauna, right?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Okay, so for a bonus action, I have the orc trait of aggressive,
Yes.
which means as long as I move in a straight line towards my foe, I get an extra movement as a bonus action.
That is correct.
So I shall be aggressive.
B.
Beautiful.
Aggressive. B-E. Aggressive.
So you like hop up, and that center circle in the sauna room is like basically an open hot spring, right?
Yeah.
So you like hop up and like jump across the lip, like from one lip to the other of it, and easily make your way to the door and still have your regular action.
Now,
what would you like to do?
Nice.
I'm going to do something a little unorthodox with the end of that movement.
Sure.
I have to move at my foe. But what I've learned from watching my dwarven friend upstairs is that I can pass through this foe, most likely. Probably eat a little damage in the process, but I would like to end myself approximately on this side of this foe.
Okay, that's no problem. And though it feels squicky and certainly very cold to pass through this thing, you don't take any damage in the process. It seems that your friend must have done something epically bad in order to harm themselves by passing through this creature, such as botching a die roll.
Well, I was expecting it to hurt more.
You were.
But now that I have used my aggressive bonus action move, I am going to... How am I going to do this? Well, assuming it was going to probably come after me anyway.
There's nothing shady about this guy in the corner, by the way.
Yeah, I know there's shady people around over here. All over the
Nothing,
place.
nothing shifty about the guy with the. Let me zoom in on this guy for the chat. Oh yeah, I mean, he looks like an upstanding citizen. You know, it's Campfire. He's just got antlers on his head. You know, demonic ruins. He's force lightning out.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and use a goading attack.
Okay.
So this will be just a standard strike for me as far as the bonuses go. Hopefully it hits. Yep, that's about as good as I'm rolling today.
We're doing amazing.
A swing and a whiff. It stops and turns its undivided attention at you.
Hey, it worked. That's all the goading attack does. So,
I mean,
Brilliant.
so yeah, unintended good consequence, I guess. You do have its undivided attention. And any other, you do still have your full movement if you wish to take it.
yeah, I'm going to move right back through and towards and stand in that hot pool of water.
Are you sure you
Armor.
want to stand in that hot pool of water?
Well, how hot is it?
It's boiling.
Oh,
Oh, well, in that case, we will hop back over to the other side again.
Cool.
And see if my goading attack must have worked, clearly. So we'll convince it to thus come after me.
Beautiful. Hopping back up to our third floor,
oh snap!
you had shouted for them to look for something ceramic.
Ceramic or ivory under the table. Yeah.
All right. They are going to... it does come to our Krampek friend, who is absolutely going to take this turn to do that very thing. They start searching around under the table. They'll have advantage because they've been told what to look for.
Nice.
And kind of where to look for it. But they're like, I don't see anything.
Man.
And then that brings us to our barkeep, who's going to start coordinating with the others that are not adventurers on the ground. Like, we need to get through this wall, get this door off its hinges, break through one way or the other. I hate to waste the stew, but I think that's our best bet. And the chef is kind of like, oh man. But that's the conversation that happens there. And he comes up and starts pouring stew on the door, which does start to kind of melt through the door a little bit, but not to the extent that anyone would have hoped. Glitter Eye just takes this opportunity to step back and sit in this chair over here away from the hot boiling fluid. Treek, what would you like to do?
So when you were describing the inn, you had mentioned that certain parts of it are made from ice and stone.
Yes. So the
as in like
exterior
carved or formed?
The exterior walls are formed ice. They're icework.
Okay.
The interior walls that have basically the walls that have the bluish tint to them are icework. The walls that have the yellowish tint are stonework.
Is there any openings per se to the second floor, or is the second floor solid? Like, is there? You were describing balconies. I was just kind of listening, trying to get an idea of what it looked like up there. Actually,
the second floor is actually pretty open. So as you look, the balcony only extends about 5 feet on along the southern wall, and then it comes in further on the east and north walls. Actually, if you look at the Twitch, you can see how far it extends out.
Okay.
Try to slide the screen over. Come on, baby, go.
Okay. So the reason why I was asking, and for people that aren't aware of some of the racial things, my race has what's called cloven hooves. Yes. It allows the Krampek to maneuver on near sheer surfaces almost as they are on flat ground with their cloven hooves like satyr legs. So I have proficiency in athletics and advantage on checks that involve climbing. So my thought is, would I actually be able to run up the sheer surface and just be on the second level rather than running all the way to the stairs?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can run straight up the wall along the floor. You basically have spider climb for getting across the upside down part would be where you would need to make an athletics check probably. But as far as getting up the side of the wall, yeah, that's you take no movement penalty for that.
Okay, and it says I'm proficient in athletics and have advantage on checks that involve climbing. So I'd have advantage on that athletics check even?
That is correct.
Or just, okay. That's what I'm going to attempt to do. I'm going to attempt to run up there and get on the balcony as quick as possible. So let's roll. I have to find out what is athletics, strength-based.
Oh.
So it's a +3.
So something that came up I didn't notice before while you're doing that is I have a racial ability called Stolid Mind that would have given me advantage on that charm or frighten roll. I apparently missed on that.
That is, yep.
Very cool.
Whoa.
Oh, boom.
Oh.
Yep. So yeah, you effortlessly run up the side of the wall, basically coming out. Did you just want to go up like straight up on the southern side?
Yeah, essentially just straight up from where I'm at. Yeah, like on that corner right there.
Yeah, and that's really like that's basically, I guess that would be your movement in your dice because you did need to roll the athletics check. So
nice.
But yeah, you're there at this point. You would drop pretty much right in front of Mick.
Oh, nice.
Oh, hey, thank you.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, great.
Hello, Mick.
Hi. Look, we got a problem.
Hi, here.
Nah, Guy in the
And
corner's not shifty
I
at
will
all.
just have my bow out. I can't actually act on this turn, but I'll have my bow out.
Beautiful. That will complete your turn and bring us to. I know, initiative tracker, you're having a hard time because there's a lot of people. Our buddy over here, who, since this thing bit him and it literally had zero effect on him whatsoever, he's just going to sort of nonchalantly turn to the side and start looking for this object, like the ghost just no longer concerns him.
Nice. Feeling pretty good about that. That 4 hit point
So
guy
don't-
is doing well.
Yeah.
I don't see anything over here. As the ghost is like,
He's doing a fantastic job tanking.
and that will bring us to Herschel in the basement. Herschel is going to just basically move so that he is interposing himself between the ghost and Wafek and trying to kind of. Basically, they are sharing a space at this point. He's kind of covering her with his body, and just says, "You'll be fine, my love. Everything is well." That brings us to Serena, who opens her door and goes, "What is all this noise about? Oh my gods!" You hear from the hallway. The Rekorak, now having this woman shrieking in its face, and because you failed your actual attack, turns to the screaming thing and decides to.
Oh, thanks for the follow.
Thanks for the follow, Zom.
It's
Oh,
a
AFK, be right
song.
back. I see it now. I thought it was just AFK. Be right back. Awesome.
Nice name.
Oh my god, AFK. Be right back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're
so
smart.
It runs up and like you just hear like a horrid scream and some chewing noise. The Slytherin druid just kind of makes a very disgusted face as she looks over that way and says, "Oh, that's not great."
Let's see. Oh, that was a pretty good roll from the bad guy. The Rekorak is here to kill us.
It was last time too. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. That's what it seems to be here to do. It's odd.
That's what its job is, apparently.
It's almost like a bad guy or something.
Right, some sort of villain.
Here, let me put our other screen back on for a moment, even though my camera seems to have died.
Oh, on the Twitch.
Yeah.
I mean, I see you here.
Yeah, I have a different camera on Discord than I've been using for the stream, and somewhere about, I don't know, 30 minutes ago, the camera just decided, like, I'm done. So I don't know what's going on with that, but, yep.
You see the Slytherin woman doesn't move. She just holds her hand out, and a fire shoots up in it.
Ooh.
And then she just throws the fire sort of nonchalantly at this ghost. Dealing 3 fire damage to it.
Nice.
But it did get 2 temporary hit points, or it got 5 temporary hit points from eating this poor woman who came out to just see what was wrong.
That is a rough situation there. Get your face munched off. They get stronger. That's not what you want to see.
Up top, Tarna shouts, "I remember who it was. He's staying in the basement."
Oh.
Ow. What's he look like?
he's a human man, flaxen hair, pale. And down where you're at, Bracha, you can hear sounds like from outside the room, like maybe furniture being moved around in one of the guest rooms. Like someone is like shoving their desk or bed in front of their door, because that will do them a world of good against a ghost.
Oh man.
All right.
Seconds while I hot maps.
We've done this thing to our DM tonight, and that was to split the party across 3 different layers of the map to start this fight. And, you know, what can I say?
It's impressive because there's only 4 of us.
Well, hey, we're on 2 layers now. We're only on 2 now.
Oh,
We're
we're,
down to
middle
2
layer.
layers of the map at this point.
Yeah.
we're flattening them down a little bit.
To be fair, I didn't even know there was another layer down here when I said I was going down there. I just...
Seeing that its bites are having no effect, this Rekorak up here is going to rip its face off.
That's not good.
Triggering its horrifying visage. Each non-undead creature within 60 feet of the ghost that can see it must make a DC 13 Wisdom saving throw. If you've made the save against this already, you're immune to the effect.
Nice.
Pull
Right.
up my character
I
sheet.
should say if you've succeeded on the save, you're immune to the effect.
Right.
If you failed the save, you will need to make it again, but you will have advantage on this one because we forgot you had advantage on this.
I succeeded the last time.
Is this a new Rekorak for me?
It is a new Rekorak, yes.
So then I succeeded on the previous.
So you're good, though. If you've succeeded
Okay.
on the previous, you're good.
Nice.
You're immune to
So
this
you
effect
succeed-
from Rekoraks.
From any of
Yeah.
them.
Yep.
Okay.
You're immune for 24 hours to all of them.
Feeling good. Feeling real good. It's a nice change of pace.
So, however, our friend up top here, or our friends up top here, have had no such luck in the past. Now this one does have advantage, so he's fine. Again, very stoically, he just kind of looks over and just says, "Really? Like, I was trying to enjoy a meal with a friend." The other Krampek that was sitting with the Taliesin, however, screams and just takes off running down the stairs.
Makes sense.
It does. It follows. Yep.
I'd be right there with you.
That brings us to Yarnash.
Shriek fails as well, just so you know. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, no.
Oh, I did not see
Again.
that, but excellent.
Yeah, I failed again.
By a lot. You keep failing by a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
You lose 13 years off your life.
Oof.
Oh, no, I didn't. I got a 10.
Did you?
My wisdom save was a 10. Yeah.
he's a 10.
A 10. Okay, I was looking at the wrong
Yeah.
character. Never mind.
Yeah.
Scratch that. You do not age.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Actually,
That'd have been 28 years big.
The Krampek actually lost 13 years off
Oh.
of her life.
Dang.
Sorry about your luck, Louse.
Her fur has gone grayer.
Oh,
and,
man.
Yarnedge down on the ground floor says, "Yes, I remember we spoke to this man of magic, the blonde man."
Blonde man.
That brings us to Professor Fluffernutter, who is right up in this Rekorak's face.
Oh, man. It's this guy right here.
Oh, man.
Chomp, chomp.
Ooh, 19 out of
The
24.
chewy chomp. The chewy chomp.
Chomp.
Tell you what, this is one of Levi's most effective dogs he's ever made.
I agree.
Remember that time when he made a whole race of dog people?
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Yep.
I do.
These were far more effective dogs.
It's
They should have been monks.
Yep.
12 and is very displeased with you.
Actually, I think they were dogs.
And that brings us to Campfire. Campfire is not moving from that spot. Does not see the creature. Why don't, since you can kind of see over there, Mick, why don't you go ahead and give me a insight check if you don't mind?
Oh, I would love to. Let's see what is mine.
And this will be a non dice action.
Okay, inside. I've got a 2. Okay. Dice roller. Pop out. Come on, baby. There we go. A 16, apparently, plus 2, so an 18.
So it occurs to you that he is two things. He's confused and he's scared. He does not seem like he is responsible for what's going on here at all.
Oh, that's good. Looks can be deceiving,
but-
I guess.
Travis, in the downtime between fights, if that was longer than a single minute, my heat breath is gone.
Oh, so yeah, it probably was. So you're probably dealing half.
Right.
damage.
So I'm doing.
Okay.
So go ahead and give him, I guess, 6 back.
Thank you for letting me know that I assigned homework. I appreciate it. So Nick, it is your action. You do have free reign to move it as you choose, to make a ranged attack if you like. You can even try to see if you can spot the object from where you're at.
Well, I could see across to each of these tables. So I got 3 tables I could see across from me.
Okay.
Is the railing a solid railing, or is it something I can look under?
Oh, you can absolutely look under it. Yeah, it's not. It's barely a railing, really. It's more of just like a pipe.
All right. Well, in that case,
Stone.
I will take a gander. Let's take a look. See. Can I use
Great.
perception?
Perception or investigation, whichever you prefer.
Nice. Well, we just got a raid from J Brews and 6 more folks,
Hey,
so
J Brews.
welcome.
Oh, hey, J Brews.
Hello, Raiders. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, tonight we are doing a spotlight episode where a guest DM comes in and they show us something cool. And this time is literally cool because we're playing Scarred Lands, Frostlands of Fenrilik. And Travis Legge is here from Onyx Path to show us all around the funness of this. So I will switch it over to cameras here in a minute as soon as I finish taking my turn, so you can at least see everyone that's here. But welcome. I will pop out the dice roller. I will get that to actually load. And we will add 6 to this roll. 4. I don't know why it rolled twice. That's weird. Oh, that's the same. Okay. 9 plus 6, 15.
Excellent. So you see. Let's see. Did we kick on? Is it buried under tokens? Where did it go?
Currently, we are facing icy, undead, misty folks, apparently, called Rekorax. And we discovered one below in this icy inn. And it had come through the door and bit some people's faces off and aged them prematurely and did all kinds of nasty stuff. But we discovered that if you take these jars that they seem to be coming out of and break them, that maybe something good will happen for us. And so I'm currently looking for one underneath these tables.
So you can see underneath this table, right here where the good professor and the Rekorak are fighting. You see a jar. This jar appears to be. This is different. This is not a statue. This is like a glass jar. And from as near as you can tell from over there, there appears to be something that's like fleshy floating in this glass jar.
Fleshy? That sounds horrifying. was that my action, or is that can I still do
So
something?
that would be your dice action because you're actively investigating, but you will still have your movement and a bonus action.
Okay. Well, then I will get up out this door. Hopefully, come on, me. I can do it. There we go. And I will run up into this corner over here, the furthest distance from any other person, and hopefully blocking the stairs so that Treat doesn't run away. And I'm going to be looking across the way, hiding, after I yell, "It's under your table, right there, underneath you!" And then I'm going to duck down and get ready to take a shot at it next round with my short bow.
Beautiful.
And then I will bring them the spotlight. And the camera's back.
That brings us to Bracha.
Nice. BRB.
Now, this is my favorite thing about maps. Maps always have things on them that DMs did not prepare for, like pots hanging out next to boiling water. So what I would like to do is take my bonus action to fill one of them pots with the boiling water.
Absolutely. That wouldn't even really require a bonus action because it is right there.
I'm glad
it's a use object.
I'm glad you feel that way about it. So then I'm going to move right out here like this, and I'm going to dump boiling water on top of Ice Ghost.
Excellent. Go ahead and make your attack check.
I don't know what kind of attack this technically is. Is this
It would
ranged? Do I
technically
add
be ranged.
So it's
Yeah, it would technically be ranged.
So instead of 5, it'll just be plus 30. Oh, I'm horrible today.
Swing and a miss. You do have, somebody did point out, you do have an action surge.
I was aware of my action surge. The problem is I only have 1 pot of boiling water. I don't have 2, so I'm not sure a second attempt at splashing water will do any good. But I was considering.
That's valid. What's your passive perception, by the way?
With my wisdom of 13, that'd make me an 11.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you don't notice anything really other than the fact that you are aware that it seems to emerge from this bathroom to the north of where you're at.
Emerged from the bathroom?
Yeah, like this ghost, like straight came out of the bathroom door.
Okay. Well, that being the case, and is that someone being eaten over there? Is that what I'm seeing?
Very much has been eaten. They are pretty much iced over and desiccated at this point. They did like 13 cold with that bite.
Oh God.
Yeah, it was enough to like instantly kill the person. Yeah.
That's rough.
All right. So since it didn't cost me a bonus action, if I used my aggressive trait for my movement, then I would still have a move.
Well, you used your yes, absolutely. Yes, you
Right.
still have your
So I
full
could declare that as my bonus action to have moved up here because I'm aggressive, and then I can take an actual move. And you said this bathroom here?
Yeah, the northern one.
This one?
Yep.
Which was this is a bathroom here?
Yeah, the far corner. The one I
Okay,
just opened the door off.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
A little hard
So,
to ping with all these doors.
Yeah,
sorry.
so I'll go ahead then and take my actual move action to move up into that bathroom.
Excellent. Once you get in the bathroom, you absolutely see. Just scoot your token down just a scotch here. But you see there's a bottle sitting on the. I see my triggers aren't behaving themselves. A bottle sitting on like the wash basin. Is that showing up?
I see where there was already like a clay pot. I don't know if I see
Let's see if
anything else in there.
if I can make my triggers play nice now that I have rebooted. For some reason, the trigger's not activating on this map, so let me just go ahead and manually turn it on for you. See that potion just appeared next to you?
Oh, yep, I see it now.
Yeah, so that appears to be like a water skin that's sitting there. It looks like it's old. Looks like it's filthy. Certainly looks like a water skin nobody would drink anything out of.
I mean,
Just the sort of thing he would drink.
That's right. That's
I
right.
mean, before I came downstairs, I heard him say that these things are tied to items, so I'll smash it with my axe.
All right. I'll allow it. I mean, it's a object that's just sitting there. So you bring your axe down.
I'll burn my axe and surge for it to break it.
Sure.
So I have the action. So
You bring the axe down and go not only through the water skin, but into the wash basin that it sits on. And you hear this Rekorak just scream in horror as it is destroyed.
Nice.
I thought he was going to say, well, you don't have the healing potion I just gave you.
Way to ruin it. If I was
What do you
just,
want, guys?
If I was just this much more of a dick, I would do that.
Here I try to give you guys healing potions, and you destroy them.
Sploosh. Yep.
trust no one. Seemed awfully sus to me.
Yeah, you definitely hear it like screech in horror as it dissipates. And you also hear the Slytherin go, "Oh, good job there!"
Pretty cool.
That'll end my turn.
To our friend who is running, the people up front who are working on the front door, they're probably about halfway through destroying that front door at this point. That brings us to Treek.
Treek is frightened once again by this Rekorak.
Indeed.
But I think I will attempt. So the bottle behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Do I on the table? Is that an actual? It's there, right?
That's the jar that's under the table that has
Oh.
this fleshy bit in it. And
Okay.
Nick did point this out to you before they hit. So you can absolutely attack it, and you can absolutely attack it without being affected by being frightened.
I say because I wouldn't be frightened of that, right? Okay.
Right. It does look gross once you notice it. It looks like
Yeah.
a glass jar that has like a lump of meat of some sort floating in it.
I will take my attack at that bottle. Pew!
There you go.
26.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, go ahead and drop your damage for that if you don't mind.
9
Yeah, so
piercing on it.
this shatters, and when it does, the Rekorak screams in horror, and its form shatters as well.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Good round.
Like it when a plan comes together.
The gentleman standing next to the professor goes, "Well, that was anticlimactic."
Oh, that's beautiful.
Herschel continues guarding his lovely wife. Let me do a little bit of manipulation here to our initiative orders as we have less Rekoraks in it.
Less.
So two
Down to
is
0,
dead.
right?
You might think so.
Ah.
So this one comes barreling forth.
Where is that coming from? Must be on a
Is it
different
on my
one.
map? It's on my map.
Yep. You see another one.
I was watching stream so I could see the other map, and then all of a sudden I realized I didn't see one appear on the other map. I was like, oh, it's on my map. Never mind.
Very distinctly a different spirit
Uh-oh.
comes rushing toward you, having you cornered in this bathroom. but it doesn't quite make it close enough to actually do anything to you. This
I close the door
lied.
and turn the little vacant thing so it shows red, so it's occupied.
It does have enough to make an action, which you might be. You made your save the first time, right? Or no, you did not.
No, I
So
aged.
It will horrifying visage as it flies up to you.
Uh-oh.
So go ahead and
course
give me
it
that
will.
wisdom saving throw.
God,
Because this is what I'm really good at.
worst possible place to get attacked is the can, man.
Hey, that's... Oh, they didn't
Much
add it
better.
in at 17.
Much better. You are now immune to the horrifying visage, and do not age any further, which is good because you would have fucking died.
Yeah, on the pot.
You'd had a
Gone out
Tyrion
like
Lannister
Vince
moment, yeah. Or not Tyrion, what was his dad's name? Yeah, I don't know, whatever, I can't remember his name.
Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, his
Yeah,
dad
that too.
died on the can, yep. Crossbow bolt.
Tywin.
Tywin, there it is. Thank you.
And that will bring us, I do believe, that cycles us back to the professor, unless I'm missing someone, right? Yep.
And
So,
if
Professor-
Treek doesn't actively know that there's another combat going on downstairs, which I don't know, he probably didn't hear that one. I'm not sending you anywhere, Fluff. Sorry, bud.
Don't worry, I got this one.
And I can't hear that. You're 2 floors down. I have no idea.
That will become the next question, yeah.
Yeah. Basically, they're still working on the door. Mick, are you doing anything at all? Because you go ahead and give me a perception check. It's going to be a disadvantage. It's going to be a DC 16 to see if you can hear
My passive
screams and struggles.
my passive is 16.
Oh, okay. So you do hear like what sounds like you can still hear some struggling and maybe like a scream or two. It's very muted. Might be coming from the basement.
Ah, we're not done. There's one more. It's downstairs. Basement. Ah, wait. Where's our friend at? Oh, God.
You go run around and kind of try to go down the stairs. Having a hard time here.
Remember, remember the stairs themselves are
locked.
10 foot. Anyway, so you can drop down the 10 feet to the next map, no problem.
Nice.
That will spit you out basically here. And so you would be able to get, it's 20 feet to the next door. So you can get to the next set of stairs without taking a dash action.
Yeah, I'll just say I can easily take a dash. And then I've
Alright,
got
so
more
that'll
movement
put
if I
you-
want from because of uncanny, or not canny, or canny, whatever it is. Canny action.
Cunning action.
There it is. That one.
Fanning
So
action
that-
is the one specifically involved with jarring food.
Yeah,
That's the
Peach
one
is
he has.
primarily. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
he has
So
canning
that will-
action.
That will spit you out here with 20 feet of movement left.
Nice. Okay. 20 feet of movement. Let's take a look around. This is first I've seen this room. Let's zoom out. Let's see. What does this look like? 2 rays of light sticking out of my face. We'll probably have to go around. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there they are. Hooded stranger. I don't like the looks of that guy.
As soon as you're on the corner, this fella who has been holding on to an action for just this occasion
Hey! I'm here for you, buddy.
is going to go ahead and greet you.
Wow, never mind.
He's going to greet you with a chill touch spell.
Oh. Reach out and touch me and find out I'm in
Does
the
a
cold.
12 hit you?
No.
Excellent. You see this ghost, like he reaches forward and his eyes turn black and this ghostly skeletal hand rushes forth from his hand and grasps at you, but you deftly dodge out of the way.
Nice.
Now you do, if you still have remaining movement in that cunning action, you can still utilize it if you want to try to duck back around that corner or move to a more advantageous position.
Okay, so I moved and I used my canny action. Did I require another dash action to get to this point, or do I still have an action?
If this was the second set of move you have, you would still have like a regular action at this point.
All right, regular action sounds like a spectacular thing. I think I might actually be able to use one of my feats that comes from Scarred Land. Find my character sheet. Oh, sorry about the popping out thing, guys.
No, you're good.
Juggling monitors here. Ferocious. You can fight viciously when cut off from friends and allies. You gain the following benefits when you are within 5 feet of a hostile creature, and no friendly creatures are within 30 feet of you. I don't see anybody.
You'd have to be closer to him to use the ferocious.
Okay. Well, if I have movement to get there, then I will do that. Because he was using chill touch, right? So he was trying to touch me?
Yes.
So did he move up?
Chill touch is a range of 120 feet.
Oh.
The skeletal hand extends
shoots out.
And
Gotcha. Okay. Well, then I will move up if I have the movement and try to take a...
Allow it. Chill touch is not properly named. It should be like chill reach or something like that.
Gotcha.
It's an interesting spell for someone to have in this part of the world.
It is.
It's not a very target-rich environment for that.
It's
spell.
necrotic. It's not cold damage. It's necrotic.
Oh,
so it's
well, that'll be a problem.
Okay,
So,
I guess it makes more sense then.
So for those of you in the audience who don't know what this feat does, it is a Scarred Lands original. So at the start of my turn, if I'm isolated from my friends and in a bad spot, I took this because my character is a coward and he's going to fight when he's cornered. He gets temporary hit points equal to his Constitution modifier at the start of each turn. You can use a bonus action to make one melee weapon attack, and he has advantage on attack rolls with opportunity attacks. So
he took it because he's played with us long enough to know that we would all abandon each other the moment.
Yes,
and we did, as expected.
You are correct.
He understood how we play.
I will take a short sword attack on him without sneak attack apparently because I'm all alone. D20 plus 5. 15 AC.
Oh, you absolutely tag him. Go ahead and roll that damage.
Nice. So it's a D6 plus
He
3.
He is a wizard that is full of squishiness.
Eat 9 damage.
All right. He squeals and says, "I surrender! I surrender!" And drops to a knee.
Huh.
Okay. That was easy. What about the ghosts? Turn them off.
Excellent. On that note, that brings us to Bracha, who is face to face with another one of these ghosts, I do believe, right?
Did I hear somebody yelling, "I surrender"?
Yes.
So Brachaw's up here somewhere.
There is no surrendering. All right. So because I know I can run right through these things, and they pose little threat to me by doing so, I am going to take my move and go 5, 10, 15, 20.
Oh, hey! Look at that guy.
We'll just get right up about in here.
Uh-oh.
And I will accept his surrender.
Like actually, or the beheading kind of way?
In the beheading kind of way.
Yeah.
Went murder hobo on us.
But don't worry. I can't
you
get
missed.
anything to save my life. Don't worry about it.
That's our
Wait, you get a
Dustin.
bonus to attacking somebody that's prone if he kneeled.
Yeah, he is prone, so you get advantage, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man,
You're
we get
welcome.
to fail again.
I'll aid your murder hobo.
Oh man. Wow. Did you botch?
So much
So-
more effective.
He's not. Fortunately, it was advantage, so you don't actually botch.
Yeah.
And fortunately, his cowardice far exceeds his perception. So he assumes that as this axe goes over his head and into the stone wall above him, that you had deliberately missed.
Well, he's right.
And though he audibly wets himself,
Ooh.
he does manage to whisper a word in a foreign tongue that causes the remaining Rekorak to dissipate.
Excellent.
As we are getting so close to the end of the night, I'll just go ahead and let you know, fill you in on what happens. You manage to gather everyone together on the main floor, including this interloper, who reveals to you that he is a traveling wizard named Jaxel. He came here at the behest of a group of dwarven lumberjacks from Juraj, who hired him to create chaos in Kovo Kimru and basically undermine confidence in the safety of the place in the hopes that they might be able to sort of manipulate that into a better market for their own lumber.
Mission accomplished, buddy.
He submits himself to the mercy of those assembled and begs for his life. Unless any of you object, Found Truth says, we have a very simple law here in Kobo Kimru. If you endanger our well-being, we strip you of your possessions and leave you to the cold.
Seems most fitting. If that is your traditions, I say we follow them.
Wait. Oh, never mind. I wouldn't know this.
What?
He can go.
Well, if you don't want to die out in the wilderness, you could always buy a guide. And, I'm that guide.
Really, Mick, you'd sell yourself to this one. Aye.
Gotta earn a buck.
Always looking for the job, though. I understand. Hey, wizard man, friend.
Yes.
Do you have any clues on any historical sites we might be visiting soon?
My journals, if you can unlock them, are in my chamber. He holds still as the innkeeper and the other Eshik that are there literally start ripping his clothes off of his back.
Well, thank you for your time.
He starts weeping as they bodily drag him to the city gates and throw him out in the snow, naked and afraid.
Oh,
And that's where we'll wrap this game up.
Dun dun dun.
he'll be eating slugs and drinking terrible water soon.
Oh
He'll
man.
probably just be freezing to death at the moment the sun goes down. Is more
Yeah.
likely.
A few moments, yeah.
Which is a much gentler death to freeze to death.
Yeah, yeah. Oh boy. Well, that was cool. So the reason we got together to play tonight was to take a look at this new content for the Frostlands
Absolutely.
of Fenrilik. And thank you, Travis. So at this point, let's throw a link out there for those in the audience, because that is the link to get to this particular piece of content. And
Yeah, and that's available right now, and it's also unlocked for so like the Dungeon Masters Guild for D&D. Scarredlands has a community content program as well called the Sluritian Vault.
ooh,
And Fenrilik has unlocked this continent for development there as well. So there's all
very
these neat
cool.
hooks of like, you know, village names with a little bit about what the village does, but there's nothing really fleshed out. There's these new races, new creatures that are introduced, but only one adventure in the main book. So you, as a player or game master, can also pick this book up and create your own content and sell it that's set on this continent. So
Sweet.
It's a neat thing.
Wow,
Yeah.
like almost like open source content creation. This is kind of what you
Right,
did there,
exactly.
right? That's really cool.
Yep. And that gives people an opportunity to flesh out this continent that is very much painted with kind of broad brushes.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love the races;
So-
they're great.
Yeah, they are really cool.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun to work on.
They don't
and,
feel like kids; they feel like they're their own thing, and that's really cool.
Yeah, very neat.
Yeah.
Hard to do in this day and age when you give what fantasy realms are. Like, there's so many out there. To come up with something that feels unique is actually quite. Yeah.
Well, thank
It's
you.
quite
And
a
yeah,
feat.
I'll pass that along to the creators as well. I did see that Ailey, one of the authors who worked on the adventure that's in the Frostlands book, is in the chat. So hi. Ailey.
Oh, well, hello
awesome.
there.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Thanks
so,
for
you,
stopping.
so you know all about it then. Well,
And,
go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, yeah. The only other thing I wanted to make sure everybody's aware of is, it looks like next week, our mega campaign for Scarredlands, which is set on Gelspad, the main continent, Dead Man's Rust, looks like that's going to be coming to Kickstarter. So if you're interested in
Nice.
a campaign that takes characters from levels 1 to 10
Nice.
and is just face-meltingly, heartbreakingly heavy metal, fucking awesome undead stuff. We've got dungeons, we've got dragons. A couple of them are undead dragons.
Oh boy.
There's just all
Level 1
sorts
through
of
6?
monstrosity and nastiness coming out in Dead Man's Rust. It's a really fun campaign. We've been working on it for like a year and a half.
Great
I'm super
name.
proud of it.
Yeah, I
Great
like
name.
that.
Yeah, it sort of centers on one of the name comes from there's a race in the main book called the Hollow Legionnaires,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
who are basically souls that are
Very
bound
cool.
to armor. And there's this magical plague that shows up that causes them to start rusting, and it's resistant to all the normal cure magics. So it falls to the characters to figure out what's causing this and how do we fix it before this entire new species that's just starting to find its footing gets eradicated by a plague.
Wow.
So lighthearted, fun.
Yeah, it's
stuff.
good for the whole family. Children love it. That's good stuff. Well, thank you so very much. This was fun. And
Thank you.
Yeah.
if you are new in the chat and you haven't joined us, make sure to check out our Discord. Also, I linked the YouTube channel there as well. That's where you're going to find all kinds of our previous content with. In fact, we also had an episode where we interviewed Travis back in December of 2019, so it was almost a year ago.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long time.
So
I'll
you
be
can
coming back soon, though, for us to talk about Dead Man's Rust at length.
Oh, yeah. Very nice.
Nice.
So
Think in a couple weeks.
that will be great. Looking forward to that. So thank you, chat. And even though I am disembodied tonight without a camera all of a sudden, I am here and I appreciate you. So do we have a rating target, Dustin?
We sure do. We're going to go see my newest bestest buddy, Friendon, who's doing some zombie art tonight for the community. If you're in his Discord and you post a picture, he will put you on some zombie art. And it's going on leggings and merch and all kinds of cool stuff. So we're going to hop over and say hi to Friendon, and we will catch you all later.
Awesome. See y'all there.